Hi everybody, welcome back. We're back here at Layout for Modeller's Corner. We're going to do some work now either end. We're going to build some platforms to make a station area. So let's have a closer look. So at this end we're going to create a platform to go in this space here. And you can see I've scraped away some of the ballast to create the shape where I want the platform. And what I've done is I've taken some 18mm plywood and I've cut it to shape to fit in there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it over to the workbench and we're going to put some plastic card on it and make it look a little bit better. So here's the piece of wood I'm going to use for the platform. I'd say it's 18mm plywood. I've just given it a coat of grey paint. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it with plastic card. So I've got this sort of stone effect here, which I'm going to use for the platform edges around the sides. And then for the top of the platform, I've got this plastic card here, which is basically like a slab effect. So that's going to go on the top. So I'm just going to cut them out, put them on the platform. I'm going to use rocket card glue to stick everything together. So I'm going to do all that and then I'll come back and show you when it's finished. There we go. It's all covered with plastic card now. You can see I've done the edges here. I've done these little pillars as well, just to represent supports for the platform edge. You'll notice it's not gone all the way down because there's going to be ballast coming up to here, so you're not going to see that bit. One thing I'd advise about this, if you're cutting plastic card, you need some way of securing it. I think I need to get myself a little guillotine or something like that because some of the edges aren't very straight, where the ruler was slipping as I was trying to cut it. I'm hoping that will just add to the character of it once it's all painted up. So what I'm going to do now is take this outside. I've got a can of Tamiya primer here. Actually, that's not the primer, that's the varnish. Where did I put the primer? There's the primer. So this is just a grey primer. I'm going to spray all this, leave it to dry overnight, and then have a look at it tomorrow, and then I'll do some further detail painting on it. So let's get that done. I'll show you what, it tomorrow when it's dried, and then we can carry on and do some further painting and detailing on it. So here it is, next day. It's had a coat of that grey primer. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some white paint. This is just white acrylic. I'm going to paint that on. And what I'm doing here is putting in the mortar course. I'm going to paint all that in. Get it into all the gaps. And get some clean paper towel and just start wiping it off. There we go. Now you can see the mortar course is picked out. Now yes, it looks too clean and too bright at the moment, but we'll do a bit of weathering on this later on, and that'll help it blend it in a bit more. So I'm going to carry on now, do the sides, and then I'll come back and show you the finished result. There we go. There's the mortar lines filled in now. That's a little bit of white paint. They'll get darker now as I do some weathering and put some washes on it. Take the uniformity off it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some masking tape along here so I can put a white edge on it. Now this is low tack masking tape. So what I like to do is actually just stick the tape to my clothes just to take a bit more of the tack off it. So when I pull it off, it doesn't pull off the paint I've already put on. So I'm just going to eyeball it, put it up by the edge, finger along just to get that edge pushed in. And I've got some Tamiya white. And we're just going to paint on the edge. I'm just going to do one edge first. Right, now I can already see this is too thin because it is bleeding under the tape. If you can see there where it's bled under the tape. So, put a bit more pressure, make sure that's got a sealed. Down a bit more. Well, obviously I'm going to end up with a white blob there, so I'll have to sort that out later. But I'm just going to see this other tip now, see if this is any thicker. No, that is quite. Yeah, but I must have put some thinner at this paint one point because it is quite thin. So what I'll use is I have some paint in here, white I was using for the mortar fill. So I'm going to try a bit of that. Yeah, this is a bit thicker, that's better. Right. It doesn't go on as well as the Tamiya, so what I'm going to have to do is do this in a couple of coats. It's one thing I noticed with the Tamiya paints, they give a far better coverage. Now, I'm just doing this just before my usual Thursday night live stream. If you're not aware of that, I do a live stream every Thursday evening at 7:30 UK Irish time. So if you've got any questions, you can pop along to the live stream. Pop your question into the comment and I'll see if I can answer it for you. And if I don't know the answer, somebody in the chat will. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button for me and give me the old thumbs up. It all helps. All I'm going to do now is leave that for 5-10 minutes, let it dry, and I'll come back and do a second coat. So I'll come and show you the result later on. Here's the platform. I've taken the masking tape off. You can see there we've got the white edging on it. I've also done the yellow lines. I used one of these Posco pens, yellow paint pen. It's got a 0.7mm nib on it, and just use that along with a straight rule just to put the line down it. It's quite simple, quite effective. You can see there the yellow lines on there. This one's a bit faded because the pen started to run out, so I need to get myself a new pen. But I'm going to leave that to dry now, and then we'll come back. We'll do a little bit of weathering on it, and then we'll do a black wash on it, and that should be them complete. Let's get started with some weathering the platform. Now what I've got here is I've got some WS powders, weathering powders. So I've got black soot, green moss, I got rust, I got light rust, and then I got these Tamiya weathering powders. Well, these are more like little makeup kits for weathering. So they come with like a little makeup brush for putting it on. So what I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to do this side here, because this will be facing the back of the layout, so it won't be seen too much. So I'm going to use this side as a little trial just to see how this stuff looks. So we'll start off, I think what we got here, got a bit of mud. So we'll put that along the bottom and just use the brush just to rub it in. If you think you got too much on, you use the tips of your fingers just to work it in, lighten it off a little bit. It's actually looking a lot better already. You can see That's made a big difference already just doing that. It's highlighted some of the mortar courses. It's made the bricks look a bit dirtier, the stonework look a bit dirtier. What else have we got in there? We've got, so maybe we want a little bit of rust sort of running down places. And let's have a look at some green moss. Now this is a powder, so I'm just going to use a brush, dab it in. So I'm just taking the lid, put some on the brush, and then I'm dabbing most of it off because obviously I don't want too much on there. I'm just going to give a little hint of green moss. So you see that now with the mud, bit of green moss, there's some rust spots on there as well. I don't think that looks too bad. So I'm going to carry on now, do the rest of this using these powders here and the Tamiya, and we'll come back and have a look at it when I'm done. Okay, here's the platform, all weathered. You'll have noticed the black wash has gone on it. I did record it, but I didn't notice that the mic went off, so there was no sound. But never fear. We have the platform for the other side, which I have suitably weathered. And so I can do the black wash on this. So the black wash I got here is the Humbrol black wash. Now I've used other washes before that I've just made up myself, just got some acrylic paint, put it in a tub, mixed it with some water and some paint thinners, and it does the job. I bought this years ago and I've never actually used it, so I've used it as you've seen on the other platform and it seemed to turn out quite well, so we're going to crack on and put it on this one. So as you just get the wash, paint it on. There's a bit of a strange smell of this wash. I can't quite place what it is. So you can see it's just painted on. Put the brush down, put this over to one side so I don't knock it over. And we're getting some paper towel and we're just going to wipe that off. And this will give more definition to the mortar lines. It will also vary the colours on the slabs. What I did find when I was doing the other one is you got little fibrous bits on there. I'm not sure whether it's come out of the wash or off the paper towel. So I just got a normal painting brush and just basically dusted it off. Here we can see. That looks quite effective now. There's variations there. The mortar lines filled in, more defined, different coloured slabs. I think it looks quite good. There's always the question as well, when you've done your weathering, do you varnish to fix it in and then do the black wash? Now I didn't on this time, I just done the whole lot together. Now this is all complete, I will take it outside and I've got some flat gloss, just flat varnish that I'm going to use to seal all this in. So next time you'll see this, it'll be on the layout. I'll just give it a spray. I've got Tamiya clear varnish. Say, just a can of that. It's the flat stuff, so there's no shine of it, and that'll just seal everything in and help protect it. So I'm going to just do a bit of black wash around the edges, leave it to dry, take it outside, varnish it, put it on the layout, and that's the next time you'll see it. That's the platform in place now. Obviously you have to do extra bit of ballasting around here just to fit it all in, tidy it all up. And there'll be extra weathering done on the track as well, so you'll get some of that splashing up, adding to the weathering on the platform as well. But I think the effect isn't too bad. It's like a well-used faded platform. So I'm going to leave that there. Lots more work to do. I've got to get all the scenery done. You can see I've started putting a few buildings in place. These have lights in them as well. So we'll get this done now over the next week or so. So there we go, that's how I make my platforms. This video didn't go without its issues between the mic not working and bleed under the masking tape and the masking tape coming off and bringing paint with it, and my paint pen running out and not being able to cut straight lines on the plastic card. I'm going to have to look into that and find a guillotine or something to cut the plastic card. So if you hung around this long, don't forget to give me the old thumbs up, hit the subscribe button for me. Listed here are my Patreons and channel members. A big thank you to them for their help, and they do have channels, some of them, and they're linked down below, so do check them out. So I'll pop another video here and here, subscribe button in the middle, and as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.